I forget the exact specific mechanics of liquid glycerol in terms of what it's doing and actually kind of like hyper hydrating you. But for the next so often, I'm not exactly sure how long we're gonna run it, but I've got a link down below. Raw is doing a free $50 Thavage pre-workout. So that's the one that actually I'd kind of put in that A tier. Free with anything over $75 in the cart. So if you go for like a big tub of protein, a liquid glycerol, boom, free full-on pre right in the middle. So honestly, I'd say the Thavage, if you can handle some beta-alanine, is your best bet. But if you're a little bit less on the tingly side, but maybe you know someone who actually does like some Thavage, you could kind of go halves and halves. You get one of the, they just dropped a tingle-free essential. So that's one just pre-workout, no beta-alanine involved. And then you can give the guy the freaking, beefy Thavage, maybe make it a gift. Christmas time is over, but I think the Christmas spirit can kind of still live on, and I think the nicer everybody is like that, the better. But yeah, so $75 free Thavage thrown in. I gotta actually up my game. I'm out of glycerol. I need a freaking restock. But I decided to change it up today. I haven't gone to this particular gym for fucking months. And it's kind of far. It's a lot of the gyms I go to are kind of right in my vicinity, like 15, 20 minutes. This one's a little closer to 30 minutes south, but it's a badass gym. It's Metro Fitness Worthington, and there's like 5 around that area. There's a Metro Dublin. There used to be one that was like really close to where I live, but by the time I actually managed to get around to like go check it out, they had shut down. And it was just a little gym. Like, it was kind of a hole in the wall, like, maybe a few thousand square feet, nothing crazy. But yeah, that kind of sucked. I guess that's just one more kind of motivator to don't put shit off, right? Actually make use of it while you can. But yeah, I'm gonna head down here and see what I can throw around for back. So I can tell I'm still a little inflamed from travel, which is kind of just part of the deal, especially if you're a little bit bigger of a guy. Usually a plane will kind of get you. You're just sitting down. Luckily enough, though, I slept the whole flight back from LA to Ohio. I think it was a little shorter than the way there, maybe closer to 4 hours instead of like the 5 or change that it took to get there. But I was pretty much out the whole time. But I could tell my ankles were a little bit more swollen. And then plus, diet went a little bit off plan too. Like, I wasn't eating a whole bunch of like just crazy calories or anything, but instead of my normal meals of like, okay, evenly distributed throughout the day, kind of small, very basic, protein heavy, during both the expo days, my approach was, shit, I'm gonna be at the expo all day, let's eat a big ass hotel breakfast, basically not eat a ton during the day, I got a little Chipotle bowl of just salad and steak. That's kind of my go-to right now. And then kind of a bigger dinner later at night after training. So any kind of change like that to your routine, any change to just like your regular back and forth of like, just even just your day, like your sleep schedule, your food intake, it can kind of just mess you up a little bit, so I'd say my circadian rhythm was thrown off just a touch, but after a day or two, I think we'll be just right back to where I freaking want it. So today will be good. 12:15, a little bit later, I decided to sleep in a little bit extra, which was actually cool because I got hit with that second wave of either just like REM or slightly deep sleep, where I was having this crazy dream. I was like on the beach. It was like a whole sunset thing. Just, I don't know, it was just awesome. Like, it was a badass dream. And I just woke up a little more invigorated. So that's going to be my kind of equivalent of a rest day continuation from yesterday. Because I didn't hit a lift yesterday. I did my cardio last night, did that little Q&A in the parking lot, And then now it's time for back. I had back scheduled for yesterday, but after all the travel and everything, it would probably make a little more sense to save it for this morning. So I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to lean a little heavier row or a little heavier kind of pull downs here. I'll kind of just have to see once I get started. But this gym's pretty grungy. It's definitely on the old school side of things, and they've got some really cool old pieces. Like they've got this really good kind of mid back row where, and this is something guys really love now. It's like thinking about the strength curve of machines. That's why people like the Prime equipment so much, because you can add plates on different like angles of rotation, where it's either like really heavy at the bottom and it gets lighter at the top, or it's lighter at the bottom and it gets heavier at the top. Most people like the heavy at the bottom, light at the top. They say that, you know, you've got more tension in the flex position and you can really squeeze. Either one's cool. I think a healthy mix of both is probably your best bet. You don't have to just like only do one. Like a machine isn't bad because it has a specific strength curve like that. I just saw a video of and I'm not trying to be mean when I say a kid, but like this was just like a 16-year-old dude, and he's like, yeah, if you ever use this hammer strength chest press, your chest is never gonna grow because the weight gets heavier at the top. You're just gonna work your triceps, you're just gonna work your shoulders. And that, like, it's too nuanced of a topic to make such a blatant claim like that. And also, I've got pretty objective evidence. I've used that exact machine this guy's talking about, and I've got a badass chest pump from it, you know? So don't get too caught up in these sort of arbitrary rules that we're talking about now. Nah, man, get a pump, go hard, progressively overload, you know, we all know the basic gist of it, and then enjoy the process. And I think that enjoy the process part is probably the most important, because that's what's going to bring you back. If every time I came into the gym to train, I just said, I don't like what I'm doing, I don't want to do it like this, I don't have any fun doing this, what are the odds I'm going to come back? What are the odds I'm going to want to come back and at least be excited about it? You know, a lot of guys, they definitely keep themselves on a good routine, but if you're not excited about it, if you're not like passionate about your training, well, then you're just going to half-ass it. And when it comes to like really over time making gains, you got to use your full ass, man. Half-ass is not going to work, right? Half-ass is you come to the gym, you got your freaking, you know, you get your whole fit on, you got your shaker cup, you look the part, you got your straps, you got a belt, you're walking around with your duffel bag has some pre-workout in it. You look like a weightlifter, bro. Like, you're looking the part 100%. But if you're not bringing it, well then shit, man, you just, it's like just looks or whatever, right? It's not going to work. So just keep that in mind, right? If you see somebody slacking next to you and then you kill a set really hard, you mean it, that should be kind of a little bit of a like very validating feeling, because you're like, oh yeah, shit, man, I know I'm killing it harder than that dude. In an ideal world, everybody would be killing it, but shit, man, the closest we can get to that is just making sure that you're killing it. You know, like, be the change that you want to see in the world. I want to see everybody work out and get freaking, you know, make badass gains, size, strength, leanness, whatever. So, you know, I'll do my part at least. You know, that's for freaking sure. But I doubt it's going to be packed. It's freaking noon on a Tuesday. Should be pretty dead, and I won't have to wait for any equipment. So freaking lucky me. But I think no more talking. Let's just get started. All right, let's not go too crazy. I think I could throw the full stack around, but I don't think it'll do me any better than just 250. So a nice neutral grip pull down. This will be a good start. And these will be quick, not like super slow squeezing or anything. Oh, a few more things. I can go a little heavier. Okay. Whew. All right. One more of these. I'll go just one tiny little bit heavier. Oof. Oof. Okay. Holy shit. All right, let's move on to something else. I think a row is in order. This will be a good row. Ooh, one more of those. Oh, all right. One more row, but not this one. I can have my fill of this machine. Oh gosh. Yeah. Let's go back to where it all started. Finish with that pull down, and that'll be it. Last one, I think. So only 220. Lighter than the first set, maybe a little higher volume. There. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Let's pose down. Back complete. All right. Sorry if I have to like mess with the audio. They got music going pretty loud, which normally I can like kind of finagle the YouTube copyright system on. But if I can't, I end up having to just put on like noise reducing or like voice isolation. And it kind of sounds like shit. Like it's not super crazy good. So apologies in advance. It won't change the pump, but the listening experience may suffer just a touch. But yeah, we got a little bit of side lighting from the sun, plus this overhead light. And you should be looking pretty freaking cool. So let's see how we're looking. And I can tell I'm still a little like, I don't want to say like, obviously I'm not watery, but I can tell just from traveling still, I've got a little bit of excess fluids that I really don't care for. But as they kind of thin out over the next few days, we'll just start looking freakier and freakier. But, let's just get started with a little lat spread action. Oh my goodness. Actually, let me do that and back up a little. Oh shit. All right, if that's not a pump, I don't fucking know what is. So we're not done yet. I've still got 45 minutes of cardio, either on the bike or the treadmill, to be determined. But either way, I'll get it all freaking, pedaled out, playing my phone to distract myself. Then I'll see you in the freaking car. There we go, yeah. I'd say I wouldn't call that a back day. I'd call that a badass back day complete. And now I'm gonna go get some food because I've barely eaten freaking jack today, which is a good thing. But I'm not trying to starve myself here. I'm trying to aim for like kind of a sweet spot of calorie intake. But one tip that really ends up working for me pretty well is just trying to delay my food intake for later. And I'm not saying like do a 20-hour fast and only have like a 4-hour eating window from like 6 o'clock to 10 or something crazy like that. I don't think you have to go that far. But if I wait until noon for my first real big meal, or if I just have kind of a small, maybe slightly carb heavy meal, 50, 60 grams of carbs, maybe a couple fats and proteins pre-workout, and then save a real bigger meal for post-workout when I'm dieting, well, shit, it's already like noon or 1 o'clock or so. I've only had, by the time I've eaten that meal, maybe 900 calories. So that means for the rest of the day, I've got 1,600 left to work with. And if you know what you're doing, you can make 1,600 calories stretch pretty well. But let's say I wake up at 8 o'clock this morning, and instead of having something small, or just like a little something or other, and then going to train and do my cardio and like spend all that time doing that when I'm not eating, if instead I say, holy crap, man, fuck, I'm hungry, dude, let's eat something, and then I have like a 15 or 1,800 calorie breakfast, really just go crazy, like sure, technically I haven't gone over my calorie allotment for the day, but I may as well have. I'm basically screwed. Like, what am I supposed to do? Only eat 700 for the rest of the day? It just doesn't really happen, Now, of course, obviously you could just have a really big breakfast and then cut yourself off and eat nothing for the rest of the day.
but it's so much harder than it would have to be, you know? So I'd rather save my food for later, because an ideal day of dieting isn't actually like a struggle. An ideal day is I had a lot of activity in the morning, I had a decently sized meal that keeps me full for a couple hours afterward, one more, do my cardio, have another one, and then, you know, have some snacks or something, or just save another meal for right before bed. And then I don't have to like lay down and think, oh man, fuck, do I go eat something? I can't even sleep, I'm so fucking hungry. You know what I'm saying? So part of that is what I call watching your calories per hour. So evenly distributed between your carbs, fats, and proteins. I'm aiming for like 50 grams of fats, 250 grams of protein, and I think 200 something grams per carbs, or of carbs. I don't know the exact number. I've got to track, like I am hitting that number, but whatever that is, that's what I'm aiming for. So if my eating window is from, let's say, 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night, I'm going to eat later than that, but just for simplicity's sake, to say 12 hours, you know, I got 12 hours to eat what's around 2,500 calories. Let's say 2,400, just for math's sake, is, you know, 24 and 12 are pretty easy to multiply. So that would mean I can only eat about 200 calories per hour. So if I eat at that rate, you know, maybe by 9 o'clock, maybe by 3 o'clock, halfway through the day, if I've only eaten 1,200, or I just finished getting to 1,200 right at 3 o'clock, well, then I'm good. I'm on track. My pace is exactly where I want it to end the day exactly where I'm aiming for. You know? Now, don't take that idea too far, because what'll happen is if you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to save my food for later, and then you basically just try to eat nothing for as long as possible, well, then when you do go to the kitchen and say, okay, let's eat something, now you're really freaking fiending for some food, and you're probably going to end up eating a little bit more than you expected to, because you've built up your hunger so much. So part of this is just kind of experience, and maybe you don't really get that kind of late night appetite like I do. Maybe you want to just eat a big ass meal in the morning, and then you kind of just scratch around for the rest of the day, and that's what's easier for you. That's what feels better. And if that's the case, well, then do that, you know. But that's where it kind of comes down to just trying things out and then adjusting accordingly over time, you know. So if you think you can wait until noon for meal one, have like a 500-600 calorie meal, feel pretty full until like 3 o'clock, and then do the same thing, not a bad approach in my eyes. And I'm always going to want to lean towards less food in the morning, just because, like, when I posed down today, I wasn't fasted, but I had a pretty empty stomach, so it makes the pose down cooler, because I don't have a bunch of food in my stomach taken away from my vacuum and like proportions and everything. And dieted, I kind of don't like training with a full stomach. It just feels like not bloated, but I can tell I've got food in here, you know. Bulking, I don't care. Give me a big ass freaking meal of Cane's. Let me take a nap for an hour, and then I'm going to take my pre and head straight to the gym. I'm ready. I don't care if I feel like my stomach's going to explode on the leg press. Like, I want a bunch of food in my system. Dieting down, very different take, you know. So that's what's been working for me, and it's been making it not easy, but much more consistent for me to stick to my macros. So, you know, I guess if I could give you like a tip of where to start, just start with your protein. You know, when I was a beginner, like year 1, year 2, I wasn't counting any carbs, I wasn't counting any fats. The only macro that I was actually tracking per day was my protein. Like, okay, did I hit my 200 grams? Did I hit my 250 grams? I had a lot of months where I was eating like 350 grams of protein per day, and I'm like a 180-pound dude at the time, because in my mind, 1 gram of protein per pound is good. 2 grams of protein per pound is even better. I don't think it hurt, but I don't really think it helped either. Like, if I only ate 180 grams of protein per day, and then the rest of my calories just from like carbs and fats, I think that'd be fine too. It's really, you know, protein gets a weird shtick. It's hard to go over your protein. Like, if you slam a bunch of fats and carbs one day, it might throw you off. You eat a bunch of extra protein, You're gonna be all right. Don't let anybody fear monger you into not hitting your freaking protein goals, or even maybe going a little bit over. But around that gram per pound of body weight, I'd say that's about the sweet spot. If you eat a little more, you're cool. If you eat a little less, you're cool. Don't sweat it too bad as long as you're around that area. But that's all I did. I just counted my protein, made sure I hit it, and then trained super hard. Over time, I started to get the value of like counting my carbs and fats, and learned about actually trying to bulk up and then restrict myself to cut back down. But it took time. I wasn't tracking every calorie and every macro every meal like I am now right in the beginning. I've like worked my way up to it. So as much as I'm always talking about like tracking your shit, don't feel like you have to jump 0 to 100 like right away, because in a way that's just kind of unrealistic. You don't just graduate first grade the first day you show up. It takes a while. You learn all the stuff, you get used to it, and then you're smarter at the end of it. So just try to work on it, right? Step 1, just get a macro tracking app. You don't even have to use it. Just download it, leave it on your home screen. It'll be just a little bit of a daily reminder about that. And then that little reminder is probably going to grow and snowball. And before you know it, you're going to be in the gym saying, holy crap, I had 600 grams of carbs last night and I can freaking feel it. I'm full right now. Whoa, that sort of thing. But yeah, plan for me now, go get some food in my system. I've got another 45-minute cardio session later tonight. And the treadmill has been doing me justice. I don't know. I used to like I still like the seated bike, but I've really been liking just incline treadmill. 5% incline, 3 miles an hour. I get my heart rate up to like that kind of mid 130s super consistently. I'm trying to like squeeze my glutes and my hamstrings a little bit extra. I'm obviously nothing compared to like a Stairmaster, but I think I just like it because it's different. I've done so many hours of the seated bike. Maybe I'm kind of entering a little bit of a treadmill era, but I still throw the seated bike in every so often, just kind of to change it up. But yeah, nothing else to say there. I'd say that was a pretty damn freaky back pump. I'm excited to get back home with the computer so I can actually see it on the big screen when I edit this together. And then I'll see you for a freaking arm day tomorrow, which I hope will be even freakier, because by tomorrow morning, as long as I'm on my game with my hydration and everything today, I should be a little bit drier because I won't be holding on to so much kind of like travel inflammation water, which, shit, that's going to be really cool for me. So that's all I got. So I'll see you then.